Welcome back to MJAI Legacy. Today we take a sweeping journey through one of the most extraordinary careers in modern music history, the life of Michael Jackson, from the narrow streets of Gary, Indiana to stadiums filled with millions, and the lasting title he earned as the King of Pop. This is a story of uncanny talent, relentless work ethic, immense pressure, conflicting vulnerabilities, and the creative genius that rewrote the rules of popular music and performance. This episode is not just about hits and fame. It is about the battles he fought behind the scenes, the personal and professional struggles he overcame, the choices he made, and how those moments together shaped the artist the world remembers. Prepare for a deep, honest look into Michael Jackson's career, the obstacles, the innovations, and the legacy. Early sparks, the Jackson 5 and childhood on stage. Michael's musical story begins at home. Born in 1958, he was one of 10 Jackson children. Their home on Jackson Street in Gary, Indiana, was modest and crowded, but alive with music. Katherine Jackson's faith and song mixed with Joseph Jackson's firm belief in hard work and discipline. Joseph had played in local bands and, in his own way, saw opportunity in his son's voices. By the mid-1960s, Joseph had molded a family act. The Jackson 5, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and young Michael, began performing at local clubs and talent shows. Michael, though the youngest, possessed a remarkable combination of a crystalline voice and an innate sense of rhythm and performance. Audiences noticed how the tiny boy commanded the stage with a presence that seemed far beyond his years. This was not an easy childhood. Rehearsals were intense, often long and unforgiving. Joseph's methods were strict, discipline was the engine that kept them moving forward. The environment demanded sacrifice, lost school days, travel, constant evaluation. Yet the grinding routine also forged precision. Michael learned early to turn raw feeling into a polished, repeatable performance. That combination, deep emotion delivered with machine-like precision, became his trademark. By 1968 the Jackson 5 had attracted attention beyond Gary. In 1969 they signed with Motown Records. Their first string of singles, I Want You Back, ABC, The Love You Save, and I'll Be There, hit number 1, propelling these boys from a small town to national fame. For Michael, the transition was seismic, from neighborhood stages to televised appearances, from family rehearsals to arenas full of screaming fans. He was a child and a star at once, a duality that would define much of his life. The price of early success, lost childhood and building resilience. With success came pressure. Michael later expressed that he didn't experience a normal childhood. Tours, interviews, studio sessions, and promotional obligations replaced playdates, school functions, and youthful freedom. The public face, smiling, impeccably choreographed, always enthralling, masked loneliness. Fans saw wonder, the child who created it often felt isolated. Joseph's role is controversial in history. Many credit his relentless training for the group's success, others cite his harshness as a cause of deep emotional scars. It's important to see both sides. The rigorous practice regimen cultivated an unparalleled professionalism in Michael, but it also taught him to suppress fear, to perform under pressure, and to conceive of music as work that must be perfected. Those early pressures hardened Michael's resolve but tenderized his sensitivity. He developed a perfectionist streak that caused him to obsess over small details, a trait that would fuel later artistic leaps, and later, personal turmoil. The discipline and resilience born of hardship prepared him for the next stage, forging an identity as a solo artist. Breaking away, the move toward a solo career. Despite the Jackson 5's success, Michael hungered for more personal artistic expression. Motown, a legendary institution, packaged the group tightly and often controlled musical direction. As he matured, Michael wanted a bigger canvas, to write, to shape sound, to choreograph ideas that weren't confined to the group format. The 1970s saw Michael take his first meaningful steps as a solo artist. He released solo albums like Got to Be There 1972 and Bent 1972, which showcased his emotive, youthful voice and hinted at deeper artistic ambitions. However, the real pivot came after the group left Motown and the family signed with Epic and later Nemper Management, environments that gradually allowed Michael more autonomy. It was in the mid to late 1970s and early 1980s that Michael began to find his sonic identity. He worked with creative producers, refined his vocal stylings, and most importantly, learned to translate visual storytelling into music. He was not content to be just a singer, he wanted to be an entertainer whose songs lived in spectacle, dance, fashion, and film. Off the wall, perfection in pop craftsmanship. Off the Wall 1979 marked Michael's arrival as a mature solo artist. Produced by Quincy Jones, the album blended disco, funk, soul, and pop into a sophisticated, cohesive statement. Songs like Don't Stop, Till You Get Enough, and Rock With You revealed an artist confident in his range, the ability to groove, to croon, to deliver hooks that were both radio-friendly and intricately produced. But Off the Wall is notable not just for its sales or charts, it revealed Michael's mindset. He sought artistic excellence and sought it in every layer: vocal arrangement, rhythm, groove, production sheen, and stage persona. This was the seed of something larger, an approach that would make him famous not only for songs but for flawless presentations of songs. Yet even with critical acclaim, there were obstacles. The music industry's structures, race and genre categorizations, and market expectations created tension. Michael pushed against boundaries. He wanted to be global, not merely pigeonholed. With his next project, he aimed to do exactly that. Thriller, The Seismic Shift. Then came Thriller 1982, an album that changed everything. It was the perfect confluence of Michael's songwriting ambition, Quincy Jones' production mastery, and a changing cultural moment prepared to accept a black artist as a global pop superstar. Thriller obliterated sales records, redefined the music video as an art form, and transformed the entire music business. Billie Jean, Beat It, and the title track, Thriller, were more than songs, they were cultural events. Michael's performance on Motown 25, where he debuted the Moonwalk during Billie Jean, created a viral effect long before the internet. The Moonwalk showcased his ability to fuse precision choreography with charismatic mystery. It was not just a dance move, it was a visual signature, a moment in which millions recognized they had just witnessed something transcendent. But the path to Thriller was not without internal struggle. Michael strove for perfection in every detail: vocals, guitar solos, synth textures, and music videos that matched cinematic standards. He invested hours in the studio, demanded flawless takes, and risked commercial strategies for creative ones. His drive paid off. Thriller became the best-selling album of all time, winning a constellation of Grammys and cementing his status on a global scale. Reinventing pop, videos, image, and live spectacle. After Thriller, Michael didn't rest. He elevated the music video into a storytelling medium. Thriller's 13-minute short film, directed by John Landis, mixed horror, choreography, and narrative in a way that had never been done before. Radio and television could not contain Michael's creativity, he demanded cinematic platforms. Michael also refined his visual image. With sequined jackets, single white glove, fedora, and signature dance silhouettes, he crafted an instantly recognizable iconography. His stage shows, cinematic sets, pyrotechnics, and choreography raised the bar for live performance. He transformed concerts into theatrical spectacles where every second was designed and rehearsed to create awe. His reinvention of pop performance influenced generations. Artists learned that pop could be theatrical storytelling, an immersive experience akin to a film or Broadway show. Michael pioneered how to marry pop music's immediacy with the narrative and production scale of larger entertainment industries. The price of perfection, personal demands and health issues. The magician's craft required labor, and the labor had costs. Michael's pursuit of perfection became an emotional burden. Hours in the studio, endless rehearsals, and the pursuit of an uncompromised vision took their toll. He developed chronic pain from an excessive schedule and later from injuries, relying at times on medications to cope. The intense media scrutiny amplified every personal difficulty. As his face and persona became public property, his private struggles were dissected and sensationalized. The fame that elevated his art also intensified his vulnerabilities. Health concerns, evidence of self-image issues, and public curiosity about his appearance and relationships complicated his life. Michael was a global icon and yet someone searching, often painfully, for normalcy and inner peace. The complex interplay between his art and personal life is essential to understanding his career's broader arc. Bad, dangerous, and continued innovation, staying at the top. Despite those difficulties, Michael continued to innovate. Albums like Bad 1987 and Dangerous 1991 confirmed that he could remain relevant, even as musical tastes evolved. Bad produced a string of hits and showcased a harder, edgier image. He embraced new production techniques, integrated world music influences, and continued to expand the boundaries of what pop music could be. Michael's talent for reinvention was matched by his ability to nurture new technologies in music and visuals. He used emerging recording techniques and new video formats to present songs in immersive ways. His live performances remained major cultural events, drawing huge crowds and generating revenues unprecedented for a solo artist. But with escalating fame came escalating expectations. Each new album had to match or exceed the last. The pressure to maintain global dominance contributed to an increasingly insular life. Michael's perfectionism, once the source of immaculate art, also intensified the costs he paid for control and privacy. Controversy, legal battles, and the weight of public scrutiny. The 1990s and 2000s brought the darkest and most complicated chapters of Michael's public life. Allegations and legal battles consumed vast amounts of attention. Whether one looks at the court documents, testimonies, or public statements, it's clear that the legal crises altered the trajectory of his career and life. Court cases, allegations, and relentless tabloid coverage inflicted reputational damage and emotional strain. Even acquittals or settlements did not fully erase the lingering doubts or the personal trauma. The toll was enormous: legal fees, cancelled plans, and the psychological impact of being the subject of intense suspicion and rumor. For an artist whose identity was so bound to public adoration, these years were destabilizing. The world of performance requires connection. The legal crises severed that, replacing adulation with controversy. Yet, even amid turmoil, Michael continued to pursue music and charitable work, demonstrating an enduring commitment to both craft and causes beyond himself. Philanthropy, inspiration, and human contradictions. Amid professional triumphs and personal storms, Michael Jackson was also a philanthropist and a vocal advocate for children. He donated millions to charity, founded the Heal the World Foundation, and often used his platform to spotlight humanitarian concerns. His music carried messages about unity, about the environment, about compassion, that resonated with millions and extended his influence beyond entertainment. Michael was a person of contradictions, a global celebrity who craved privacy, a perfectionist who sought innocent joy, an innovator who tried to preserve a childlike wonder. These contradictions produced complexity, an artist whose life could be both instructive and cautionary, whose triumphs and failures are entangled. Final years and posthumous legacy. Michael's later years were a mixture of attempted comebacks, health struggles, and final plans to return to the stage. In 2009 he announced a series of comeback concerts that would be his final tour, a return to the intimacy of live performance after decades of absence. The preparations were intense, but tragedy struck on June 25, 2009, when Michael Jackson passed away. The world reacted with an outpouring of grief and reflection. In death, as in life, Michael's impact was complex. The sales surged, tributes poured in from every continent, and the debate over his life's controversies continued. But the artistic achievements remained undeniable. The songs, the dance moves, the videos, the shows, all had permanently shaped global culture. Today, Michael Jackson's influence is everywhere. Pop choreography borrows from his moves, music producers study his arrangements, artists from every genre cite him as an inspiration. He redefined what a pop star could be, a performer who could dominate sound, vision, fashion, and spectacle all at once. How the struggles shaped the king of pop. If we step back, Michael's career reads like a study in contrasts. Hard childhood discipline produced astonishing craft and professionalism. The loss of a normal youth fed an obsessive desire to create and control artistic experiences. The media's glare and legal controversies exposed vulnerabilities that fame cannot shield. And yet, within that pressure, he created transcendent works. His innovations were not accidental. Michael's relentless pursuit of perfection gave us pristine vocal takes, groundbreaking choreography, and cinematic music videos. His willingness to invest in visual storytelling turned singles into cultural events. His intuition about global pop, mixing genres, visuals, and image, shaped a template that modern pop stars still follow. Conclusion: the enduring story. Michael Jackson's career is a portrait of genius tested by relentless hardship. He remains a figure of enormous artistic accomplishment and human complexity. As you listen today, remember, his was a life of striving, to sing better, dance sharper, and tell stories that millions would feel. That friction between pain and art produced a legacy that changed music forever. Thank you for watching MJAI Legacy. If you enjoyed this episode, like, comment, and subscribe for the next deep dive, where we'll analyze the making of Thriller track by track and the choreography that changed the world. Until next time, keep the music alive.